Hi, my name's Venom, and I've never really done a video like this before with my voice, and so this is kind of like a test run to see how I can do. It's kind of late right now, so I'm a little tired, but I went over on my Instagram and I asked some people to give me things to talk about. That way I'm not just rambling about nothing while I record this. So, if you like my art and you want to see more stuff, because I'm not really that active on YouTube at the moment, please follow my Instagram. It's the same as my YouTube and stuff, so it's not hard to find, I promise. But one of the first things someone sent into my suggestion box was headcanons, and if you can't tell by the speed paint, I like the Dream SMP and stuff, but I'm not very good at making headcanons. I've got friends who are great at it, and so I usually just listen to their headcanons and stuff, but I've never really been good at making them myself. I think the only headcanon, I don't know if I made this one or anything, but I think one of my favorite headcanons that I've seen is the one that's like, Sam, awesome dude, smells like gunpowder, because it's, Graper. And I think that's funny. I also like the long-haired Tommy. I don't draw Tommy that often for whatever reason, but I see that when some people draw him, they give him a ponytail, and I think that's really cute. Another one of my favorite headcanons is from Philza, I think. I think it was Philza. It was that, he taught, like, one of my friend's headcanons was that he taught Techno how to read and write English, because Techno was a piglin that he rescued. And I just think that's really neat. I'm not really invested into the whole, I'm not really that invested into the syndicate, but I like them as streamers. On to the next suggestion. One of my friends said, talk about how terrible soup is. And to that I have to say, you're fucking wrong. Soup is delicious. I will die on this hill apparently, because she thinks it's like the most awful thing ever. And I will never understand it. Like, especially, like, potato soup with, like, cheese and, like, bacon bits mixed on top. That's delectable. But, yeah. You're alone on that one, I'm afraid. Next suggestion. Traditional art sucks. After quarantine, during quarantine, I haven't really drawn traditionally, at all. I pretty much would only draw traditionally when I was at school and I was bored and had nothing better to do. And so when brick and mortar schools went out and you had to go online, I basically just stopped doing traditional art and started doing full-time digital. And I think that may have hindered me a bit because I did a lot of like experimenting with traditional art. That's where I did most of my that's where I would try the most new things, because I always knew none of it was going to be a big piece that I was going to go post when I was done with digital art. That's a problem I fall into a lot, is that I end up finding myself only making art because I want to post it, not so much I just want to continue to have fun with it, and that also kind of stunted my growth, because I just stopped drawing a lot because the bulk of my art at the time was because I was doodling at school, and when that was taken away, I wasn't drawing that much. But as a medium, traditional art is really fun. Like, there's so many like really cool techniques and different kinds of mediums. Traditional itself is just kind of like an umbrella for like multiple different things and stuff, like there's like paints, and then there's like charcoal and pastels and just a bunch of crazy stuff. Whereas with digital art, it's more so like, I guess the program you're using would be your set of tools. I don't know. There's still a lot of really cool stuff I think you can do with digital art, and I really do prefer it to traditional. I have that problem where I'll start doodling traditionally, and then I'll go to hit Control Z because I'm so used to it, and then I'm like, oh, I pulled a funny there. But it is what it is. I remember it being I had a hard time sketching traditionally a lot of the time. I would start what I was doing and then I'd erase it, and then I'd keep trying that over and over, and eventually the paper would get all broken and messy and I wouldn't want to do it anymore, and I'd just get discouraged and stop drawing. Alrighty, on to the next suggestion. Talk about controversial things, like cute cats. I'm a dog person, which is probably only because I've had a dog my whole life and I love him very much. But I love cats. Cats are cute, you know? Cats, they're moody, and I like dogs because they're fun to play with and stuff. But, same person said rate cat pictures, and they sent me 3 different ones, and I'll probably put them on the screen right about now. That way I can you can see what I mean. Number 1, it looks like a cryptid. I feel like I would see this in the middle of the night and shit myself, but it's kind of cute in the fact that it's very ugly and disturbing. So 6 out of 10. Number 2. They are naked. They look like naked cats, but they're hairy, and that's unnerving. But they're just funky little guys with saggy skin. They're funky. I like them. 7 out of 10. Number 2. You look photoshopped. Very cute, but very Photoshop-esque. I don't know. I think the plant motif is cute, though. 4 out of 10. Yen. Yenny. Yen out of yen. Alrighty, on to the next suggestion. Balls. You're so right. Yeah, balls, indeed. That's all the suggestions, so from this point on I'm just gonna start rambling, because I don't really know what to talk about. The line art for this drawing took me forever. It was awful. I think you saw me restart it 3 separate times, because no matter what I did, I just didn't like it. It was oddly hard. Line art is my least favorite part of drawing, just because it's the least creative, I feel. Like, it's really fun to try, to try and inflict emotion through the lines itself, I guess, but you're just kind of tracing over the sketch, or at least how I do it. When I do bigger pieces, kind of like this one, I usually, I make a body sketch, and then I go over and make finer details like clothes and the face expression and stuff like that. I do that in a second sketch, and then I use that as my sketch, and then I ink over that, and so it kind of just feels like I'm inking over, like a trace, like I'm just tracing over it, which is a little bit, boring, but it is what it is. I really hate sketching as a whole, though. Sketching really gets on my nerves because I struggle to get it right, but coloring has always been my favorite part of art. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's why I still do it, because ever since I was young, I liked to color in coloring books and stuff, and I've always loved really bright, fancy colors. And one of my biggest inspirations is Crooked Glasses on Instagram. Oh my god, their use of color, magnificent, top tier, creme de la creme, I don't know that saying. It's delightful. It's so kooky and bright, and they use their use of screen texture, delectable. I'm gonna eat it one day, sooner or later. It's actually scrumptious, but I also really take a lot of inspiration from my line art from them. The way they use their pen pressure is really, really neat. I think ever since I started doing more digital art, I just started with a really simple art style. It was, you can look at my old videos. My style was very simple. It would take me maybe 30 minutes to an hour to finish anything, which is very quick when most of your recent drawings have taken anywhere from 4 to 13 hours. Absolute pain. When I started doing digital art in 7th or 8th grade, I had a very simple coloring style where it was just base, then shade, then shine, and that was it. And I just kept adding things to it because it was this thing, ever since I was young, I'd get that feeling of when I liked what I was doing, I'd want to try even harder and add more things to it to like it even more. And so with my coloring, I keep adding things to it, trying to make it better and better and better and better. And I'm really worried that I'm eventually just gonna add so much to it that it becomes messy and unreadable and, you know, not enough. With this drawing in particular, I was really afraid that his pose, he's covering his right eye, the green one, and I was afraid it wouldn't read as RANBOO because his color scheme is, you know, black, white, red, and green, and I leaned really far into purples and reds this time instead of like any green. In fact, I think the only place there is green on this drawing is his little jewels on his crown. You can see back when I was starting to color that I was trying to add like freckles or like bright green blood, because that's one of my favorite details about RANBOO's character is that in-game he carries lime green dye and redstone, and he's named them RANBOO's blood because he's a mob and he drops stuff. I think that's neat. I like it. And so I was like, well, what if I just added, you know, green blood onto where he's holding his eye? And I was like, you know what? Nah. And I just ended up not keeping it because it just didn't look good, honestly. The coloring I'm doing right now on the water was also really frustrating. I've never ever colored water. That's just not something I ever really think to draw. But I think it turned out all right. I like the coloring of the line art. I think that was fun. But we're getting to the end now where I struggle to pick a background, as I always do. I also did something I never do in this drawing, which is I added a screen print to the background. I normally do that like outward shaded, you know, color background. That's like my thing to keep my feed look nice, but here in a second you'll see I add a screen texture over it, I think, and yeah, that was new. But anyway, again, like I said at the beginning, if you like my art, please check out my art account on Instagram. And yeah, that's about it. Also, if you do like this kind of voiceover ramble style, let me know and give me things to talk about because I don't really know what I'm doing. So yeah, thank you for watching and have a good day. Bye bye.